Hi, and welcome to Figments in Time podcast. I'm Lewis,
And I'm Val.
and we're back again.
Again.
This is episode 8. Episode 7 was 6 months ago. The previous episode before that was quite a while. The last one was entitled Good Excuses, More Excuses, but Good Excuses, and this one could be titled the same thing. But we have an actual topic to talk about tonight. So
we do. Yes, we have had a difficult 6 months or so, really a difficult year. And so every time we kind of thought we were out of it and ready to record again, things would happen and we'd get behind. And so it's been tough. But we are excited to be back because we still love theme parks and we enjoy sharing. So we are determined that we're not letting it get us down. We're going to keep moving forward.
And if it gets us down, we'll be back eventually. But this time we're going to actually do our best. We have a couple exciting things coming up. But we want to talk about something that happened in January.
Yes.
Oh, but first, D23. We're not going to talk about that today, but we're going to talk about that next time.
Yes.
Because we want to digest it and look at it and wait for a little more dust to clear. There's some things that they haven't told us where they're going to be that's going to make a lot of difference. We also, either just before or just after this comes out, we guest hosted another podcast, which we'll tell you about, Dillo's Diz.
Yeah.
And we did some fun stuff. We talked about our nostalgic feeling about Star Wars weekends.
Yes.
Which we have a lot of nostalgia for.
We do have a lot of nostalgia for that. But we were very honored that Frank and Jen asked us to host an episode. And if you don't know Dillo's Diz, check them out. You've heard us talk about them before. They're great friends, but we met them through their podcast. And so we were very honored that they asked us to be a part of it.
The only thing we will say is there was no D23 announcement of Star Wars weekends coming back.
There was not. So. No.
So I'm going to let Val introduce this tonight's segment because this was her thing. It was her idea.
It was interesting the way that this came about. I actually spoke at a conference in January at Coronado Springs. My friend Virginia and I have known each other for 10 years. We work together a lot. We're really good friends and we both love Disney and we talk about Disney all the time, but we had never had the chance to go to the parks together before. We were both speaking at this conference in Orlando and we were going to be there at the park. So I was staying a few days with Lewis. And so Virginia decided that she wanted to go to the parks with us because we talk about it so much. And she just wanted to experience the parks with us. And so she stayed on an extra day. Friday of the conference that week, after the conference was over, we decided to spend the day in the park. And it was really interesting because we had been talking a lot about which park we wanted to spend the day in. We're both, Virginia and I are both huge Haunted Mansion fans. And so she really wanted to ride Haunted Mansion with me, but she started thinking about it and she asked, what if we did 4 parks in one day? And that way we got to experience all the parks together this time. And I was nervous about it because one, out of all of these years, we've never attempted to do 4 parks in one day. I think for us, just the thought of the travel time taking away from a park day, just, we just really never thought about it. I don't really know if that's the reason why we didn't think about it. Why did you never think about it before?
I did it. I can't remember if I did all 4 parks the year before or entered all 4 parks. I think I entered all 4 parks, but I'd never done it. I would say the time I did it, it was just because it hurt too much to ride rides. So back in December of last year, I broke my hip replacement. And I can still walk on it. I can still use it. But if it bent a little bit, if you've never experienced bone pain, thank goodness. It's not a very good feeling. So I was shy about riding things, but I kept walking. So I walked through all the parks and I left. So I didn't ride much of anything, but I walked through Epcot. I walked through I went from Animal Kingdom, I think, to Magic Kingdom. Walked through Epcot.
But we never planned on doing a 4 parks in one day kind of thing.
Yeah, because usually we're there for 4 days at least. If we're gonna
Right.
do that, we're gonna go to all 4 parks. We're gonna stay the whole time.
Yeah. So we were, so when she mentioned it, I was nervous because as we've mentioned, it's been a difficult year. I've had some health issues and I am at this point really needing to use a scooter to be able to even make it a few hours at the parks.
We were both on wheels that day.
Yeah. And so when she mentioned it at first, I was like, I'm not sure. I don't know that I could do 4 parks in one day. It just seemed very daunting. But the more we started talking about it, the more excited I got about it. And so I thought, well, you know what? We can try it. And if I have to go back and take a break and rest at the resort for a little bit and meet back up with them, I could. And so we decided to go for it. And so we started to make a plan for how we were going to do this, and we decided that for us these were our goals, and we sort of made them very quickly. We didn't do a ton of planning, and so we decided that we wanted to go to all 4 parks in one day. We wanted to ride at least one attraction in each park, and so we picked the attractions we wanted to do for sure in each park. We decided we wanted to do a photo pass picture in each park. And we decided we were going to get some type of food at each park. And so that was sort of our plan for the 4 parks in one day. We were going to do, a snack, one attraction, and a photo pass photo. And I was very excited that I was able to make it through the whole day. We just had a really great time. So we thought we would just share a little bit with you about what we did and how we did it and what we decided to do. Like I said, we didn't make a lot of plans, but we did kind of decide, because we did also think for just a minute that we wanted to experience every mode of transportation. But we realized at some point that that wasn't going to quite work out the way we wanted it to. But we did plan the order of the parks for sure. That was a definite plan. We decided to start with Animal Kingdom because it opens the earliest. So we took the bus to Animal Kingdom, and then the bus from Animal Kingdom to Magic Kingdom. Then we took the monorail from Magic Kingdom to Epcot. And then we went from Epcot to Hollywood Studios on the Skyliner. And we had a little bit of issue with some rain there, during the day. It rained a little bit during the whole day. So, but it only poured a couple of times. So it wasn't too bad. But again, like I said, it's sort of, we didn't get to do all of the transportation we were hoping to do, but we were able to do the bus, the monorail, and the Skyliner. So we were very pleased with that.
I'm always happy to ride Skyliner.
Yeah, he is.
It needs to be windy one day. I really want to do it one day when it's windy. I've not quite done that.
I do not.
I've heard it's an interesting experience.
I struggle enough with the Skyliner as it is. I have to keep myself very distracted when I'm riding the Skyliner.
Disney in January and February is very interesting because some days it's warm,
yeah,
and some days it's cold, and some days it's raining and cold. And this was a raining and cold day.
It was, so and it was one of those days where I wore a sweatshirt, I took it off, I put it back on, I took it off, because it's hit and miss all day. But yeah, I had mentioned that we were at Coronado Springs for a conference. And so we had been staying at Coronado Springs that week. But that Thursday night after the conference was over, we actually moved to Bay Lake Towers. I had always wanted to stay at Bay Lake Towers. We had, like I mentioned before, a couple of days that we had tacked on to the conference, and Lewis happened to catch just the amount of days that we were staying at Bay Lake. And so we were super excited to be there. So we started off our morning at Bay Lake Towers, and the bus to go to Animal Kingdom that morning took forever. Like we mentioned, it was raining. It was just a whole thing. So we finally get to Animal Kingdom. We were super excited. And of course, Virginia needed to ride Everest with Lewis because, everyone knows that Lewis's favorite attraction is Expedition Everest. And he has his record on there. And so everybody wants to ride Everest with him. So we decided that Everest was going to be our attraction that we were going to ride. And as we were walking over there, Virginia and Lewis were talking about different attractions that she had done, and we found out that she had never ridden Dinosaur. And as we all know, we'd already received the announcement. We knew that Dinosaur was not long for the world, and we kind of told her, she doesn't go to Disney quite as often as we do, not nearly as often as we do. So she
Who
was
does?
I
Right?
know. Well, I feel like a lot of people do. A lot of people go to Disney more than we do.
That's
Um,
probably fair, but
I mean, most of them probably live in Orlando, but still, a lot of people go to Disney more than we do. But she we were worried that she might not ever get to ride it. And so she checked with her husband to make sure he would not be offended if she rode an attraction that he had never experienced, and he was fine with it. So we decided that we were going to do Dinosaur while we were there as well. So we rode Everest with Lewis, and we rode Dinosaur. You can see the picture of us riding Dinosaur. We tried to do we had planned how we were going to look, but she didn't know exactly when the photo was going to be taken, and I don't know, Lewis wasn't paying attention to the plan, and so we
I'm
kind of
terrible. Terrible at these videos. The pictures are so hard.
and literally while I'm trying to tell them that it's time, that's when the picture was taken. So I'm trying to tell them it's time. Lewis is not paying any attention at all. Virginia
Well,
was the only one that got it correct.
look, this is the first time in my life I don't have a camera pointed at this camera, pointing at me. Okay. I think the Everest one as well.
So we rode Dinosaur, we rode Everest. And if you're familiar with Animal Kingdom, oh, there's our Everest picture. He's showing our Everest picture.
See, camera in hand.
Lewis always has a camera in his hand.
I look cold. I'll have a camera. Yes, both those things are true.
So we had it was a great ride on Everest. It was a great ride on Dinosaur, and we decided to get the food we got is if you are heading into the park and you're going over to Asia, you're headed towards Everest, and you go in front of the Yak and Yeti where there's that little veer spot, the little fork in the road where you can either go left to Africa or right to Asia. And you go right, and there's a little Drinkwalla Coke shop that's right there on the corner. And they had these really cool, unique breakfast sandwiches. So we split one of those as our snack for Animal Kingdom. And while we were there, we decided that we were going to do a meet and greet with Mickey and Minnie as our photo pass picture for Animal Kingdom. And I was super excited because Lewis and I don't do a lot of meet and greets. I love meeting Mickey and Minnie. We had met Mickey at Tusker House several times, but to actually do the meet and greet with Mickey and Minnie, to be able to spend some time with them, it was a lot of fun. We just enjoyed being able to chat with them for a minute. The line was a little long. It did take a little bit longer than we were expecting it to take, but it was worth it to be able to have a picture with Mickey and Minnie. So that was our photo op.
You may notice that she's doing a lot more talking than normal. And that's because I have very few memories of this. Like I said, we said it's been a rough month. Less than a month later, I was in the hospital with a lot of meds. But I have very few memories of this trip, like detailed memories. I do remember sitting out in the cold waiting for them to get done meeting Mickey and Minnie. I remember that pretty vividly.
He did not want to come in with us, so he sat outside and waited. And but it was fun. We enjoyed it. We liked meeting Mickey and Minnie, so that was a lot of fun. And that was our time at Animal Kingdom. And we had a lot to do. So we hit the road as hard as we could. We got back on the bus and we went to Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom was our second park for the day. We were hitting there around, mid-morning. And so we decided that for our snack for Magic Kingdom, we were going to pick up corn dogs at Casey's Corner. We cannot remember what Lewis was doing while we did that because he didn't eat the corn dogs with us. I don't know where he went off to. Who knows where he went off to, but he went off to do something while we did that. We were kind of waiting out the rain because that was the moment right as we went into Magic Kingdom. That is when the skies sort of opened up and it just poured. And so that was kind of a good time for us to get underneath shelter for a minute. And our goal for Magic Kingdom was Haunted Mansion. because that is my favorite attraction. I feel like it's probably Virginia's favorite attraction too, if she was going to pick one. And so we were able to ride Haunted Mansion together, which was a lot of fun because I will always do Haunted Mansion. Plus, at that point, that was the first time I had gotten to see the Hatbox Ghost. So I was very excited about being on the Haunted Mansion for that. And then as we were talking, we found out that there was another attraction that she had never done before, and that was Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So we decided to try to get into it, and we got lucky there and were able to ride Seven Dwarfs. And Lewis decided not to ride with us because, like we mentioned, his hip was bothering him at this point. And this is not the most comfortable of coasters
To start with,
for most
it's
anyone.
amazing I wrote dinosaur, right? Just thinking back and knowing now what the problem was, because I didn't know what the problem was at the time.
Right.
But I got diagnosed a few weeks later. It was shocking that I survived this day.
Yes, it really is. But he struggles with Seven Dwarfs in general because it is a hard one to get in and out of for most people. And so with his hip and his knee and everything. So we rode that one without him. I think that was everything that we were going to do at Magic Kingdom. We decided to do a picture with the castle as our photo pass picture. I love photo pass pictures. I love the photo pass cast members. They're so much fun. They're so helpful. They really help Virginia and I with, we're only showing one picture from each thing that we've done, but we took a lot of pictures. They did lots of telling us, lots of different things for us to do, which is really fun because, you kind of don't know what to do when you're having your picture made sometimes, or at least Virginia and I didn't. And they helped us throughout the day as we were taking pictures. But this is our picture in front of the castle. And so we headed out of Magic Kingdom. And we were going to the monorail. We decided we were taking the monorail to Epcot next.
Gotta have the monorail song in my head.
I know you do. We had a plan for Epcot to try to be as quick as we could. We wanted to see the new celebration area because none of us, well, Lewis had seen it, but Virginia and I had not seen it. We decided that our photo pass picture for Epcot was going to be with the Dreamer statue with Walt. And so we had our pictures together and separately with Walt. We walked through the Moana experience because I had not seen that yet either. And so we had a lot of fun doing that. We rode Soarin'. We chose Soarin' as our attraction for Epcot. And then we were there during the Festival of the Arts. So what we decided to do for our snacks at Epcot, since this was, a little bit after lunchtime and we were kind of getting a little hungry, we just decided to go around the World Showcase once, to go all the way around. So we just stopped at random booths and picked up food. My favorite thing that I got that day was a kind of a braised beef dish at Germany, which was so good. They had a Black Forest cherry cake that was incredible. That whole snack that I got from the Germany booth was so good that when Lewis and I went back that weekend, I got the exact same thing. That's how good that it was. And so I think that Lewis and Virginia's favorite snack that day was the empanadas.
Yes, it was really good. That was quite good.
Because there's a booth that's between France and Morocco, I think, that had empanadas. I think that was
and then I did the cheese from Italy, the mozzarella, the fried mozzarella.
Yeah, that was good.
Which was excellent. It wasn't, as so many people who have reviewed this have said, it wasn't maybe worth the price, but it had it was like a little artist plate, which I didn't keep, but that had little different kinds of sauces.
Mm-hmm.
And the different kinds of sauces were really, really good.
Yeah.
So, we're not always eat around the worlders. And if she doesn't like eating on trash cans, I particularly
I
find the
kind of
trash can eating experience to be.
I like to sit and enjoy my meals. I can't. Yeah, I mean, I'll eat off of a trash can if it's the only option, but I prefer to be seated while I'm eating food. But we did hang out at Spaceship Earth a little bit at the beginning when we first came in. So we did some pictures with the photo pass there, which was a lot of fun. before we went into the Moana experience and hung out with Walt for a little bit. But so we had a good time there. I would have loved to have ridden Spaceship Earth and done some other things, but we were just, like I said, we were trying to hit things fast. We had our plan, to get our snack, our ride, our pick, and then move along. So like I said, we walked all the way around the World Showcase and ended up on the other side of France. We went straight down into the Skyliner area so that we could hop on the Skyliner and head over to Hollywood Studios.
I don't remember that. I do remember the cheese and the empanada. Those are
it's hard to say. You remember the food, yeah.
This is it. I'm like having a new experience myself.
I know.
You're a good podcaster, right? I can dig it.
So we had a plan for Hollywood Studios that we wanted to do. We were wanting to end the night there, and we were hoping to get there early enough because we really had wanted to do Rise of the Resistance, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and Tower of Terror. And we also, needed to eat. And so we, because like I said, we had our goals for what we were going to do at each park. So we were able to get into Rise of the Resistance. We had dinner at Docking Bay 7. And so we were able to kind of sit for a little bit and chill out. We did some pictures of the Millennium Falcon, and we did some pictures in front of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And we did a little video. We shot a little video kind of saying this was our end of the night. And when we hit Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, I was starting to really wear down at that point because now we're hitting, it was about 8:20, 8:30, something like that. We had planned on Tower of Terror 2, but when we were in line at Mickey and Minnie's, I knew that I didn't think I had the energy to make it much longer. And by the time we got through the line with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, it was really hitting the end of the night anyway. There was no way that we could have made it over to Tower of Terror before 9:00, and the park was closing at 9. So we ended the night with Mickey and Minnie's and took a few pictures there on the street. And we were finished with our evening. So that was our 4 parks in one day.
It is possible. Without magic, even. It was a long day.
It was a long day. It was a tiring day. And like I said, and I feel like we didn't do a lot, but I mean, it took us from, the opening of Animal Kingdom, which I think if we had gotten to Animal Kingdom just a little bit earlier, it would have been better. But like I mentioned before, the bus kind of slowed us down first thing. So we didn't get there right at rope drop at Animal Kingdom as we were hoping to, but we were pretty close. We got there. We were maybe 20 minutes late, but just 20 minutes. But I felt like it went really well. We got to do everything we wanted to do.
Needing a scooter is annoying. Just saying.
Yes.
It is what it is, but it's annoying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's funny that people treat you like they think that, it's such a great thing to be on the scooters. And I'm not saying that the scooter isn't wonderful for our situation, because we wouldn't be able to be in the parks as much as we are without a scooter. But honestly, I would give it up in a heartbeat if I could go without it. So, because it does cause a lot of trouble. So
it's a lot of trouble, but it is, I'm one of those people that I'm going to say it is nice.
Yeah.
It lets you and I'm clearly, I don't like getting them. If for nothing else, then they cost $40 a day from an offsite place, or $65 during the day. And that takes a chunk of change out of your budget for the day. But they let you, if you're not completely able to walk 10 miles a day,
yeah,
which, as you get older and as you get more injured, you aren't, they let you supplement that. So
yeah,
you ride it, you get off, you walk, you wait in line, you get back on the scooter, you walk. Mm-hmm. And when you hit that limit for the day, you have a way to get back. Mm-hmm. Someday we need to talk about mobility. We've talked about talking about mobility for a long time.
Right. Yeah, I know.
Because Disney is such a great place for mobility challenges.
It really is. They're incredibly helpful. And it's like you said, we would not be able to, just these last 2 years since I've been sick, have been my scooter experience, and because I had never needed one before, and I loved walking the parks, and was very proud of my 20,000 steps a day. Really was very, I didn't want to give that up, but also realizing that, I mean, even as it is with the scooter, some days I can only make it in the park for a couple of hours. So if I didn't have the scooter, I wouldn't really be able to go to the park at all. So it's been huge. It's been helpful, but it is frustrating sometimes because it does cause issues. And the best issues that morning weren't just because of the scooters, but because of the scooters, it slows you down even more when the buses are slow. So, you just have to prepare for that time. And so it did take off a little bit of time for us in the morning. But like I said, just about 20 minutes or so, because we were planning on being there, really early for rope drop so we could hit the ground running. But we missed rope drop by just about 20 minutes. And so,
It's a
but
slow. It was a slow bus, but
it was a slow bus.
since it was a one bus stop place and we were the only two people out there on, it wasn't so bad.
Mm-hmm.
There have been days where people go, "Oh, you get a scooter, so great." I waited 2 hours plus to find a scooter that was empty, to find a bus that was empty at times at some other parks.
Because only 2 scooters can be on a bus at a time. So you have to really watch that. You have to plan. You have to really plan. You have to plan extra if you have reservations, if you have things that you need to do that are times, you have to really plan a lot of extra time because, and you have to plan. I always tell people if you have a reservation, you need to plan for at least an hour to get wherever you want to go. And sometimes, yes, you can get on a bus and get somewhere in 10 minutes, but on some days it's an hour. It could be an hour before you get a bus. But the thing about the scooter is then if the buses are full and you can't get on, then it might take longer than an hour for you with the scooter. So you have to be cautious. But anyway,
One last mobility
we'll
thing.
talk about the mobility stuff another time.
Okay, we won't talk about it now. We'll talk about it later.
We'll do an episode with mobility issues and hopefully that will be helpful to somebody. But I really enjoyed the 4 parks in one day much more than I was expecting to. Virginia and I just enjoyed the day. We enjoyed hanging out, all 3 of us together. We had a lot of fun. Virginia got to experience attractions she'd never been on before. We got to do things together that we've talked about for a long time. And so it was a really great day.
I didn't hate it. I don't remember a lot of it, but I didn't hate it.
So you would want to do it again?
I think with other people, I don't think it's something I would typically want to do unless I didn't want to ride a lot for some reason, like I was too tired or too hurt or too something. Because I like getting in the rides, and even if I was there for 2 days, I don't know, it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe if I was there for 1 day and I really did want to just go for 1 day, you pick 6 things you want to do and you make sure you do them.
Yeah, I think I wish that we had thought through because we really didn't think so much about like what we wanted to do in each park. I would kind of like to think through our options of what we wanted to accomplish in the day if we did it again to make sure that we did like maybe maybe the next time do a meet and greet at each park, do a certain type of attraction at each park, do a show at each, like I would like to kind of maybe think through and pick some different things and have another goal other than just hitting 4 parks in one day. I like I said, I felt like we kept it pretty simple because like I said, we were worried that I might have to go back to the resort to rest in between. And we didn't know how that was going to affect the day. But yeah, it was fun.
I still don't like going back I still don't like leaving the park once I'm there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm there, right? Every minute you're riding something. But I will say staying in a monorail park and at the very least going from Magic Kingdom monorail to Epcot, Skyliner to Hollywood Studios, there's some fun. I mean, those are 2 forms of transportation which are attractions in and of themselves.
Right.
Which I like. So that doesn't bother me as much as something like having a bus.
Plus you got the friendship boats you could add in there if you wanted to add, because like I said, we had talked about, we really planned on trying to do the friendship boats because we had even at one point talked about heading over to French Quarter for beignets. And so we were we were trying to kind of like, like think through, and I just knew with my health that we needed to be a little more cautious. So we changed some of those plans, but we had thought about that because we really wanted to do the friendship boats as well. And so we ended up, because of the weather and everything else that was happening, we just decided, okay, we're just going to stick to the basic plan. And so I thought it went really well. So yeah. So,
It's going
and
to be
now that
really
I'm
interesting taking the.
sorry.
It's going to be really interesting taking the Epcot monorail from the Magic Kingdom this time and seeing what's changed. Because there were still things that were locked in last time we were there.
Yeah.
When we were there for like one day, dragging around the park.
Yeah.
All right, well, it feels like it's about the end.
Yeah, it is.
Would you concur?
I concur.
This meeting of the Figments in Time Club is coming to a close.
Yes. Yes.
All right, well, I'm gonna let you say the goodbye tonight because this is your show.
Oh no, I have no idea how to close. Thank you so much for spending time with us. We appreciate it. We would ask that you would like and subscribe and all the things. We really are sincerely going to give our best effort at actually posting more often and getting some things out there. So check us out on the YouTubes and all the things. I don't know what else to say. So we look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye.
Bye.